units, level 4 mobilization. Location, Fisk Tower.
Fisk?
SWAT is 1084 at Fisk Tower. All units stand by. Warrant is en route.
Hi, my name is Alex, and that's my Ableton project for the Spider-Man trailer. Mm, it don't have like a crazy amount of tracks, but I think I worked everyone really well. It's divided into parts, as I say in the word, like the electronic and the orchestral one of the intro. The orchestral one is divided in two tracks. The strings one, which give it like the high part, the tense vibrato of the strings, and then a brace which accompanies, and the expressivity of that one is in a very low level, so it don't have like the force of the brace should have in the normal songs, and it kind of gives like this soft vibe that introduces the scene itself. Then in this part don't have like much more to talk about, but the really interesting one is the electronic part. The first thing I did was to it's like a part of the orchestral, let's say, but it's the first electronic sound. This one. I made all the sounds on Serum by myself. The first one. It's an arpeggio that repeats itself 16 times, and also have a delay, which is following the same rhyme. So when it repeats itself, the delay is giving it in a ping pong effect, is giving it the whiteness it needs, and also a distortion, a tube distortion. I use mostly in all the sounds. I use mostly the top distortion of Zero, because I think it's I try to find a lot of analog sounding, and the tube one is one of that gives the best result. We have also like the tape saturation, but the tape saturation I think it's a little bit more like less strong, so it's better I think to use the tube but never put it on the max. And for this sound, the wavetable has a lot of harmonics, but I try to find a wavetable that don't have the range, the amount, like it don't have a crazy peak of frequencies, so it will always stand on the background, and just a plucky envelope, and this LFO is created in a random way, and I put it on the wavetable position of that one, because every note it plays will give it like a different chance of the wavetable, and not all the notes are gonna be the same. The second sound, it's also a plug that repeats itself, but it's the introduction for the part of the column when he starts wearing the suit. This one have like not much things. This EQ is toning a little bit down one of the frequencies that I think it's not a resonance, but it's high enough, and I don't want that protagonism in that plug. For the serum part of this one, I used like another type of similar wavetable as before, so it don't changes like it's kind of a same sound, the two of them, but different. And this one is just like it has like an automation of 16th on this cutoff, and just it's only modulating like the form of the sound itself, because here the form is like the init preset. And then on the reverb, I kept this sound like simple on the background, because it's the background for everything else that it's sounding.
Fisk.
That I wanted it to be like more on the first part. I have this harp. This harp is made by a little bit more things. It has like a an analog beat sine wave, which is the sine wave but with a lot of harmonics on the wavetable itself. And on the basic shapes, the triangle, because I think it's the perfect mix between the sine and the saw wave. So it don't give like the harshness of the saw wave, and I can make like an electronic arpeggio, but without making it with a lot of force, and keeping it a little bit on the second side. This oscillator is like +2 with a detune that is also modulating, and now I'm gonna explain the modulation that is like quite curious, and the LFO doing the same with the 16th waveform from here. The effects are tube distortion, as I said before. I think it's the best for the analog. The chorus, which gives it a little bit of wideness, just the compressor, and the EQ is on the part that it works itself. This EQ, I put it that way because it's doing a phaser effect, but with only one knob. And with the external EQ of the track, I'm reducing all the highs. So all this is doing is like waking up all this stuff that don't exist and converting it into a phaser. Because if I let all the highs, it will resonate with a lot of frequencies from here, because of the way the wavetable is formed and the distortion it has. Also, the comms filter, it's applying. The comms filter works in a way that the form of like all the harmonics that this filter have, you can like put up the resonance, and it will affect the sound itself. And the cutoff, like moving the cutoff, you can try to find the exact tonic harmonic. So it will give when you find that harmonic in concrete of the same scale and the root note, it will give like a metallic effect, which I like a lot. That is this one. I think it changes the sound completely, and well, I like it a lot. It gives more magic and more. It's a filter that's it. Like gives more magic and more space to it. And then I have like here an automation of the note, which I like to do a lot. When I have an arpeggio like this, the notes are going up, and with this knob on serum, I used it to automate the wavetable position of the analog design. So as the same way as the other serum, it's giving every time the harmonics, and then automating also the tune, so every note is different. And when you make every note different, it gives you like the analog sound you're searching for. And the last one is the bass, which I made inspired in Chenet, as I said in the word. It's simply done by a sine wave, and that's a saw wave, but with a bend minus, which gives a lot of. It's the tune also, so this is the one doing the bass, and this is the one doing all the exterior, and those like gives all this bass around. I don't know how to say it. It kind of gives like distortion also, because the amplitude of the sound makes it a huge bass. And the curious thing is the one is automated as a 808, this one, and the other one has this 16 note LFO, and combined gives the rhythm to the same bass gives rhythm to the older song with the lack of elements, and it's always a tube distortion. But this one is also automated to a 16 note, so the filter put it in pre will affect only the lows, and this is moving up and back, and gives this vibration of a lot of saturation that I think gives a great analog sound. And the way it is created is like in the grid. It falls in random positions, so you don't feel anytime you're in a strict song. And also this arpeggiator is in another way, because I wanted it to feel like every element is individual, and they combine itself in different ways on this path. And the last thing is when the cinematic starts, well, when the player part starts, I gave it a little hi-hat that is going inside with the Ableton. I don't wanna keep it quiet on the mono, so it's giving kind of little rhythm for giving dynamism to the sound set itself. But I wanted to keep it really quiet with all these elements combined itself only by the electronic of Serum. And well, that's it. That's my Ableton project for this Spider-Man cinematic.